Hey, welcome back, everybody. Mark from Rams Up here. Got a few things to cover on this Monday night, a couple of news items, and just some notes about our Los Angeles Rams. Of course, the big news, it has finally happened. The Rams have not made a trade for Jalen Ramsey. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers who made the trade. They sent safety Minka Fitzpatrick and a 2027 fifth round pick to the Steelers. They get Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, the tight end, and a 2027 seventh round pick. Something about the Dolphins involving tight ends in trades involving Ramsey. This time they send Ramsey and a tight end. Last time, remember, we got Hunter Long as part of that Ramsey trade. And a few things on this. Number one, it really surprises me. I just didn't see Ramsey as a Steeler culture-wise, and I'm also surprised they gave up Fitzpatrick because, the Steelers got a pretty good defense there. They got Joey Porter and Darius Slay as their cornerbacks. Now, Slay is 34 years old, so you got to consider that. And what are they going to do with Ramsey? And what we have to consider is the same thing. What would the Rams have done with Ramsey? And there's some criticism on the World Wide Web, Ram fans asking the question, who's going to be our CB1 now? Who's it going to be? And you know what? I don't think he was going to be our CB1, even if we did trade for him. Ian and I have both talked about that, especially Ian. His role with the Rams would probably have been not playing on the outside. And I think you could see the Steelers using him the way we have predicted the Rams would have used him. It was probably going to be Ramsey playing a slightly different role. And, maybe with Slay at his age, they spell him a little bit on the outside, extend his career. But this Steeler defense, along with Porter and Slay, they also have TJ Watt, of course, Patrick Queen, the linebacker, Cam Hayward. So this is a loaded Steeler defense, still unsure about what's going to happen with their offense. Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, it's a strange group in my opinion. But, Steelers going to be relevant as they always are. But what does it mean for the Rams? And I think we all need to pump the brakes on this. Oh my gosh, why did we not make this trade? Getting criticism from their own fan base, apparently. Not from me, that's for sure. Sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make. But, some guys that are going to be celebrating here on the screen here, if you're listening on the podcast, all the Rams cornerbacks, Witherspoon, Williams, Durant, and Forbes. Those are the guys that I think are locks at this point. I shouldn't say I think that they're locks. They are locks. And then there's Kendrick, Woods, Wallace, Jolly, AJ Green, and Cam Lampkin. Interestingly, no undrafted free agents, cornerbacks on the Rams extended roster right now. Now at the safety position, Curl, Kinchins, Lake, and McCullough. And I know Lake gets deployed as a cornerback strategically and tactically, but the Rams do list him as a safety. So Curl, Kinchins, Lake, and McCullough. And then you have Engel, who's been hanging around for a while, Nate Varcarcel, and Dixon Williams, two undrafted free agent safeties. And these cornerbacks especially should be celebrating the guys like Kendricks, Woods, Wallace, Jolly, Green, and Lampkin, because Jolly Green, that sounds funny saying those back to back, but if the Rams had made this trade, these guys, their shot at making the roster would have been diminished. And the safeties, guys like Ingo and Varcarcel have to be happy because adding Ramsey could have pushed Quentin Lake into a pure safety role. Someone would have lost some snaps. I'm talking about Kinchins and McCullough potentially, and guys like Ingo and the undrafted rookie free agents would have been long shots to make this roster. But they all have a shot right now, is what I'm thinking, with the Rams not making this trade. And you know what? It would have been a lot of money. Rams have some elbow room to go out and get some free agents between now and opening day. It's not going to be Jalen Ramsey, obviously, but I think the Rams, this cornerback group, there's no All-Pro candidates here, maybe even no Pro Bowl candidates, but it's still a pretty solid group, in my opinion, pretty deep. I think we're going to be okay, especially with the pass rush that we are promising to have. Now, I talked the other day about the roster. I revisited the roster and I went through it pretty quickly. And afterwards, I felt bad because there's some guys I just didn't mention at all, blew by them. And I don't want to suggest that they do not have a shot. And I tried to identify the 53-man roster, and I didn't spend enough time talking about guys that actually do have a shot, even though I made no mention of them. And again, on the YouTube channel, those on the podcast, I'm displaying some names here. One is undrafted rookie interior offensive lineman Willie Lampkin, and KT Leviston, second-year draft pick. He's got a shot. I think he can play guard and tackle, and if he could play a little bit, he'd be very valuable. If the Rams wanted to carry 9 offensive linemen instead of 10, Leviston is a guy that gives him an advantage, I think. Interior offensive lineman Dylan McMahon, didn't mention him, and I think he still has a shot. And I always forget about inside linebacker Elias Neal. Now, he has a tough road they're only going to carry 4 at the most. And if Sean Dolak isn't all that he seems, and Troy Reeder, or maybe we're past that at some point, maybe Neal has a shot. And then there's the 2 big defensive linemen, and I had talked about the 6th guy being either Larrell Murchison or Deshaun Johnson. And what these 2 undrafted rookies, Bill Norton and DeJoun Terry, bring is big bodies. And, I know Tyler Davis and Ty Hamilton can play the run fairly well from what I am told. And if that's the case, maybe Norton and Terry don't make this roster. But if you want a big body to back up Poona Ford, then maybe one of these guys has a shot over Larrell Murchison and or Deshaun Johnson, because I think they're carrying 6 defensive linemen. That's what I'm going with at this point. So there's probably some other guys I'm forgetting too, and I'll get to them next episode. How about that? But these are the, what do I got here? 6 guys that I felt I should have probably at least mentioned in that discussion of updating my 53-man roster and what it might look like. Now, power rankings. These are mine. These are Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes and Ryan Clark had their power hour. It was fun. Good video. Go check it out on YouTube. And what they did was, Mina always adds a little spin to it. And she would throw out a team and say, okay, at number 6, who you got? Packers, Commanders. And Ryan Clark would make the pick. And they progressed through the power rankings like that. And Ryan took the Bengals over the Rams at that number 8 spot. I don't really have a big issue with these power rankings overall. Eagles at 1 is whatever. I guess you have to go with them. Ravens at 2, that makes sense. Chiefs at 3, I would probably have the Bills there. Then the Bills. Lions at 5 is a little high. I think they're going to take a step back. Packers at 6, I feel really good about the Packers and their chances. I think they're going to win that division. The Commanders at 7, you can't really take issue with that. I'd still have the Rams ahead of the Packers and Commanders and potentially the Lions as well, but Homer, guilty as charged. But then the Bengals over the Rams really had an issue with that, and then they had the Rams at number 9. And for those of you listening on the podcast, I'll share the rest of it. Number 10, the Texans. 11, the Chargers. 12, the Bucks. 13, Broncos. 14, Vikings. And 15, 49ers. Really good video. Go check it out. They talk quite a bit about the 49ers and where they belong, and Ryan Clark making the point that that's a team that could be way undervalued, way overvalued, could go a lot of different directions for the 49ers. And on that note, kind of a separate subject, but Julian Edelman was on Colin Cowherd, and he was talking about the 49ers as well and the so called easy schedule. And he felt very strongly that weak schedule, strong schedule, difficult schedule, all that is way overstated. All these teams are tough. There's no easy outs in the NFL, and people put too much weight on that, and maybe I do as well. Just thought I'd share that. Julian Edelman talking about strength of schedule and such. So Sarah Barshop is talking about who her surprise player was for each team, and she talked about Byron Young. And, it makes sense. We talk about Jared Verse and Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner. And, all these guys getting a lot of attention. They're going to get a lot of attention from offensive lines as well. And Byron Young has put together a nice little career in his 2 years. And, I think Sarah might be onto something. Maybe it is Byron Young as our surprise player for the Los Angeles Rams this year. Man, this defensive line could be something else. And that's another reason why I'm not overly concerned about our cornerback group. I think they're going to be just fine. Now, I got to talk about Mel Owens. And for those of you who don't know who Mel Owens is, he was a 1981 draft pick of the Los Angeles Rams in the first round, 9th overall. Played 9 years for the Rams, pretty decent linebacker, old school linebacker. I don't think he ever really lived up to that draft position, but he was okay. He was decent, and he has been selected as the next Golden Bachelor. And I know a little bit about this show because my better half is a fan of it, all the Bachelor shows, and I end up watching a little bit over her shoulder. And I tell you, it's not a good look right now for Mel. He was on a podcast, and I'm sure the show makers aren't happy about it, or maybe they are. Is there such thing as bad publicity? And he basically was saying anybody under 60 is going to get cut like lickety split. And I don't even want to share the conversations that they had. A little bit disheartening is how I would put it. But hey, it's TV, it's entertainment. But Mel Owens is going to be the next Golden Bachelor, and he's going to take some heat. He already is. I know my better half is already not a fan of Mel Owens. And when I told her, hey, he's an ex-Ram, she kind of just rolled her eyes, not happy with Mel Owens. At least one person in my house is not a Mel Owens fan as we speak. So, hey, I saved this for last. Number 70, episode 670 on the podcast. I'm sorry, 770 on the podcast. And I'm going to talk about a player who wore number 70, another pretty darn good offensive lineman, Wayne Gandy, 6'4", 315 pounds out of Auburn. And another guy, no, Les Snead loves Auburn players, but this was not a Les Snead pick, way before his time. Picked in the first round, 15th overall in the 1994 draft. Played for the Rams for 5 years and then went on to play for the Steelers, Saints, and Falcons. Ended his 15-year career with 205 starts, and he moved on from the Rams after that 1998 season. A bad year to leave the Rams, missed out on the greatest show on turf. He was replaced at right tackle by Fred Miller, and the Rams put together one of the greatest offenses in the history of the National Football League. And you know what? If Wayne Gandy had been there, he would have held up just fine. I think him and Fred Miller are comparable. Gandy might have even been a little bit better, but you can't have everything. Wayne Gandy missed out on the greatest show on turf, but a pretty good offensive lineman. He is my number 70 for the Los Angeles Rams, and at the time, the St. Louis Rams. Had 1 year in Los Angeles, I think, before moving to St. Louis with the team. So that's it. Short episode, not a whole lot going on. Got some Jalen Ramsey and Golden Bachelor stuff all in the same episode. I don't think that's ever been done before out here from Rams Up.